I still haven't learned on like what to do as an intro, but then again, I have recorded this video like 4 times, and I'm not happy with how it looks. By the way, if you're new, my name is Junior. Been doing calisthenics for 7 years. This YouTube channel is kind of meant to put out all of my experience and whatever knowledge I can give to help out beginners who are starting out in calisthenics. I feel like it's like almost overwhelming how much information is on YouTube with like calisthenics stuff, but it's never really like tailored to a certain aspect. It's super vague, or not vague, but it covers too many points at once. And there's not really a dedicated cut the bull crap. The video doesn't need to be more than 10 minutes long. Just tell me what I need so I can get super strong. So this video is how to achieve peak strength in calisthenics. Number one rule is to keep it simple and to train intensely. You kind of want to not look like, if you're a beginner, understand that those super cool moves, like not the regular cool moves like the planche and stuff like that, but I'm talking like the exotic unorthodox moves, like the ones where the guy's like under a pull-up bar and he like does this back and forth and he like flips a plate on it, or someone who does like a handstand on a bozu ball. Okay, none of those guys trains that specifically in order to get the cool move. Fun fact, majority of the moves that are like unorthodox or cool that I've unlocked, like a one-arm ring handstand hold, they were done not because I trained for it, but literally because I was just so proficient in the basic moves that it just transferred over to where I could put myself in that position. So I can go all and on about like calisthenics and progression, but we're just focusing on how to just build absolute strength. Focus on compound movements. You don't need to make it more complicated than that. Focus on the big four: pull-ups and its variations, push-ups, and push-ups and handstand push-ups and dips. I kind of put them in a category because it's kind of like the same thing. But if you want, consider it a different thing. But so pull-ups, push-ups, leg raises, and squats. If you do those 4 exercises, it's proper variations to where it's hard for you, then that will be more than enough efficient to help you build the strength that you're wanting. Next, this can be for beginners or like guys who are like super level strength, but they're trying to get to that elite point. The way I train for strength. So in strength training, there's a rep range. So there's a proper, more effective way to train for strength. You can train however way you want. You're going to build strength either way, whether it be training with 50 plus reps or 1 rep. It's just how much do you want to direct it towards a specific goal. So I want to focus everything on strength. That's what we're here for. So the ideal so-called rep range for strength is like 1 to 8. Anywhere in that rep range is money. If 8 is your max, that's perfect. That's like the goal. That's like more for beginners. But even for beginners, I wouldn't recommend them to like focus on intense strength training yet. But for the rep range, 1 to 8 is your bread and butter. That's your money. If you are like at a stronger level where your nervous system can handle it, then you can do this, like it's almost like forced strength adaptation method. And you can't force adaptation, but I could speed it up. So the way I sped it up was that people would do like 5 sets of 5, 3 sets of 8, or 3 sets of 2, 4 sets of 4, stuff like that. It's all really small number range. So what I do, and it's not for everybody, so that's why I said it's for supers or like elite or like advanced level, maybe like a super high medium guy can try this. But it's basically like I would do 1 rep of a super hard exercise. So for example, I did this with like a pull-up and the weighted pull-up. So I did 30 pull-ups with 100 pounds. I didn't do 30 pull-ups straight. I did 30 sets of 1. So you don't do this if you have relationships or if you have time or if you don't have time, because this is like you don't have anything to do and you want to get strong fast. Here's how you would do it. I spent like probably 3 hours of pull-ups, but most of it was just resting. So I would do 1 pull-up. Afterwards, my nervous system would be destroyed. So then I would wait 5 minutes, maybe even more, and then I would get back in the bar, do another rep. I would do that until I hit 30 pull-ups total. So that's one thing you could do if you got the time or the energy for that. If not, completely understandable, but that's just like you could do the rep range of 1 to 8, or you could do 50 sets at once. You can do either one, but that's just some you could try. Next thing to help achieve peak strength is being strong in all areas, not just one. What do I mean? I'm talking about variations, okay? Variation is super not talked about when it comes to calisthenics. only focus on just the regular shoulder width and maybe a little bit wider or weighted. They just go straight to weighted. Don't do that. Don't speed up to do these certain moves, even though I know I just talked about a speedy progress, but that's for a different, that's different. But being strong in all aspects means you're strong and comfortable and able to produce force in any position that's advantageous or disadvantageous. So being comfortable doing a push-up in a diamond pose, being comfortable doing a super wide pose, being able to do it hand on hand, maybe have one hand upside down. Being able to produce force in all those areas is going to allow you to put yourself in an even more advantageous or disadvantageous position while applying even more force. What does that mean? Because I know I said a lot of words and even I'm confused. Basically, if I can do a bunch of different push-up variations like close, wide, explosive clapping, that means most likely I can do a more advanced push-up variation than what I have now, such as I can aim for a one arm, I can aim for a pike push-up, because I'm able to do all those other moves that require my body to be strong all over the place and not just one area like my chest or my shoulders. No, baby, I'm strong all around. There is no push-up variation you're gonna throw at me that I can't do unless it's like a full planche one. So getting comfortable in all those positions is going to definitely blow up your progress just because of the fact that you're building not just the muscle in one area, but in every possible area. Quick rundown. Close grip, that's like the longest range of motion. Wide grip is just the hardest range of motion. And regular grip is kind of like normal regular. Next thing is your diet for strength training. If you are a calisthenics guy and your main goal is weighted calisthenics training, like you want to get big and strong with only that for some reason, you want to train like you're bulking. Like you have to be bulking if you want to like seriously maximize the progress. If your goal is maximum strength in the weighted category. Now, if you are someone who's trying to get the static moves in the static strength category, now things get complicated, okay? Because a lot of people get nervous and overwhelmed whenever it's time to focus on a mesocycle of just skill training, because they don't know, should I cut? Should I bulk? Should I maintain? Because here's the thing, if you cut too hard, you are not going to be able to do the skills for more than like once every training session. You might do it once in an exercise, and that might be enough to cook your entire nervous system just because you've been cutting so much. Next, it would be if you're bulking, wouldn't that make the skill already harder? Or is that like a version of weighted calisthenics training? Or should I just maintain my weight in order to actually get comfortable with the movement and the skill? These are all great questions. In reality, you can do all that, but from my experience, this is anecdotal, I experienced the fastest amount of strength skill gains when I was cutting and training the skills at the same time. There's the thing though, I know my body. I know when I'm pushing it. A lot of people, when they're training the strength and skills, they tend to over diet a little too hard because they can feel how much lighter they are and they can do certain moves. Okay, here's the thing with like losing weight in calisthenics skill training. You notice it. You notice how much stronger, how much longer you could hold your holds when you're lighter. It's like, no exaggeration, if you lose 5 to 10 pounds, that's like 3 to 5 extra reps on whatever max exercise you were doing. Or it's an extra 3-second hold. Or it's like you literally jump from a straddle planche to a full planche, losing that 5 to 10 pounds. It is that drastic, and it's very easy to kind of see it as just like, you'll kind of like almost get lazy with it, because just like, if I just keep starving myself, I will get the full planche, but that's not how it works. You need to be training just as intensely, if not a little bit more intensely, than when you were like on your normal diet or on your normal maintenance phase. Because being completely tapped out, drained, while doing these elite calisthenic moves that like take gymnasts years and years to get, it's not a good idea to try to show up to every training session groggy as hell, tired, when you have an elite skill to do. You have an elite skill to perform, basically, and you can't do that while you're tired and drained. You'll be able to hold it with less effort for a few seconds, but as soon as you do it, you won't be able to do it again. And it's kind of like, you're only doing this, that's why you would only train like the crazy intense way, because you just want the gains fast, and then as soon as you do it, it's like for a competition, then you're done. So I recommend, if you're someone who wants to get the skills as fast as possible but still maintain them, I recommend to go right at maintenance calories, if not a little bit below, because just losing that little bit of weight speeds up the progress so much in your strength training when you're training for calisthenics. Now, the one thing I would recommend is that you would also try to incorporate weighted calisthenics while you're doing your cut, but not as intense. I'm talking like do your basic endurance routine, but like add a few more pounds, just because it'll keep the strength and muscle you have, and maybe even add on a little bit more of like conditioning towards your muscles when you go back to normal. Then you're not only will your body weight strength go up, your relative strength, but your weighted strength is going to go up, just because you're going to have all that extra energy on top of you, and you already had the practice of like not losing your weighted strength on top of the skill training. As for recovery, for me, my recovery's ass. I'm not gonna lie. So when I train like a planche or front lever really, really hard, I'd probably do like once or twice a week. That's it. Only time I would be doing multiple times a week is if I know I'm not going to get an actual serious workout in. And the last thing would just be some of the best exercises for the skills. It would be just the basic exercise itself. So basic pull-ups, basic push-ups, handstand push-ups. If you can just do the harder variation and actually master, like I'm talking doing wild shit, like diamond deep handstand push-ups, weighted one-arm push-ups, heavy weighted negatives on a pull-up. Like I'm talking being super strong in whatever movement, like do wide L-sit paused high pull-ups and pause at the top and the bottom. Doing stuff like that, it's going to be impossible for you not to do other cool moves like front lever pull-ups and planche. Now, the last thing, a little motivation, is to chase your goals relentlessly. You're going to encounter bumps in the road for trying to achieve things that very few people in their life can even think of. But you're capable of so much more than you realize. Get that full planche, lose that weight, achieve all your goals, and be unrecognizable afterwards. Good luck.